to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George.
Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, where today we continue our celebration of Black History Month with what is a quintessential entry in America's history of cinema. Do the Right Thing, released on July 21st, 1989, written and directed by Spike Lee. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And this is a movie that I am very, very pleased to be talking about. It's one that I watched for the first time. It may have been a year ago. It may have been the year before. Either way, whenever I watched it for the first time, it was sort of an inevitable, one day we'll get around to it. One day we'll talk about it. I absolutely adore it. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful movie. This was a first viewing for you, correct?
Indeed, yes. Finally, I think number 2 of Spike Lee for me, after Malcolm X, would be the only other one that he's directed.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wrote that one.
Pretty
as well,
sure.
but,
pretty sure you're right. I think
yeah.
as far as like what Malcolm X movies you have seen, Spike Lee movies you have seen. I'm pretty sure Malcolm X is the only other one. But
this one was, Denzel. Just in that one, it was already. I love Denzel. I was already gonna love that movie, kind of no matter what. This, I feel like, not to say that it's like on a lesser degree just because it doesn't have Denzel in it, but like I didn't have that kind of like pre-love already, if that kind of makes sense. But then, I don't know, just through the movie, like this one, for sure of this month, like the best looking one, it is shot so, this dude is actually some of my favorite shots are just that red brick wall with the 3 guys that are just chilling there, just talking. And it's just any simple situation can look so good. And New York actually just looked,
alive.
Not run down. Yeah, it actually had some character to it, or like a spirit, of sorts. And it wasn't. I don't know. New York. It seems that it's always very run down or very just trash
dark
everywhere
and gloomy,
on the streets.
especially at this time when they were depicting New York. 80s New York is a little different than. 70s and 80s New York is typically depicted in a different light than we see New York depicted modernly. You think of Taxi Driver and, movies like that where it's like, oh, this place is full of shit and it's running down the sidewalks and I fucking hate it here. No, this movie makes it beautiful. And it is actually shot on a real street in New York. It's not a set now obviously they are dressing it. There is production design going on, but it is a real street. They decided, they needed to shoot on a east to west street so that they could maintain consistent lighting throughout the day, because it is set over the course of one day. The movie starts with the sun shining from one direction and ends with another, and then the sun going down.
This is one day.
Yeah, it's one day. God. It's the hottest day of the year.
Yes. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
And then the next day starts at the end of the movie. Yeah,
God, that's insane. I guess I remember the hottest day. I guess I for some reason thought there might have been one sleep, or it was maybe 2 days or so.
Nope.
No, it is just a
just
single
a long
day.
fucking day.
Wow. Yeah. The hottest day. I think that just to drive tensions up, or just to kind of to just put everything on, just to. Everyone's ready to kind of blow.
Everyone's desperate. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and very cool of at the end, not that it's ambiguous, but I think it is the dynamic is very muddied on purpose. There is no, let's see, the cop, I guess, obviously you can point to him and be like, yes, bad guy, should not have killed, killed someone that didn't need to happen. But then, the altercation that actually happened inside, you're kind of no. You're kind of wait, no, this. I don't want this to actually, I don't want this to occur. And they had that kind of nice moment of like, oh man, we had a really good night, you know, and like let's or split it up or let
Mookie, Mookie, you're always going to be welcomed here. I love you. I love you, kid, and you're a good guy, and you know you're one of my own. You know, like that sort of. And it is well, and that's the thing too, is that I think that what the movie kind of drives home, as far as race relations at the time, and probably, I mean, not probably, definitely still to a certain extent today, which is that, and I would say probably more common for the time, was that obviously John Turturro, the gentleman playing, which one was he?
I guess he's Pino, I guess.
Pino, yes.
I would not have gotten that.
Pino and Vito. I couldn't remember which one he was. Yeah. Okay. Pino is obviously pretty fucking racist.
Yes.
Like extremely fucking racist. And Danny Aiello's character making his second appearance here in a couple months for us, as he was also in Moonstruck. A very different role there.
Good old Sal.
He's depicted as kind of the good-hearted, you know, like loves everybody, but he's still running a business, and that's the way it is. And then there's this kind of boiling over at the end whenever he lets all of it fly at Radio Raheem, and you're like, dude, you know, like almost like he's there's an element to it that's like, is he showing? Was he hiding the whole movie? And then this is what he's actually like. Is that the idea? And that's devastating, man, because the whole movie he comes across as a pretty decent fucking guy, and then they're like, never mind. And I love the depiction of this. I love Vito. You know, I love Vito talking about Mookie and being like, "No, he's real. That's my boy. I love that guy. I'd do anything for him." And you know, and Pino basically being like, "No, you don't go to the other side of the tracks. You don't fuck with black people."
Yeah.
You know, like no, and we get a few groups. Obviously, we got the Italians here. We got the Puerto Ricans also, who repeatedly call Radio Raheem pendejo when he won't turn down his music, and then he beats them in the box off.
Fight the power. I mean, kind of the. I mean,
iconic
he did
song.
love that song, you know. I mean, to be fair to everyone, is like, yeah, you could, vary it up.
Song. You
could vary it up. Was it that he only played that one
like.
song over and over, or was it just the art? You know, the only played just that. I guess I'm out of the know. I know the song, but who is the actual artist or who is singing?
Public Enemy.
Or group.
So you know the song. I wanted to make that. I want to make.
Oh yeah. Like for sure.
Made for this movie.
Oh, okay. Wow. That is
Yeah.
I like thought it was just a
I never knew that. Yeah, I never knew that until I watched a commentary for this movie, and Spike Lee was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm friends with Chuck D, and we have this we have the same lawyer, and I got in touch with him. I thought Public Enemy would be a good one to he was like, I wanted like an anthem for the movie. One that kind of recurred over and over, and it was perfect with Radio Raheem." And he was like, so that's how Fight the Power came to be. So like Fight the Power wouldn't exist without Do the Right Thing, which is a really, really interesting dichotomy. And I love the way that like music can take on a life of its own outside of movies. Like the amount of movie original songs that go on to be classics that you're like, and this is where that's from. Like Que Sera Sera. This song's like, You've almost certainly heard it, you know, whatever will be, will be. Originally from an Alfred Hitchcock movie, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Like that's it's an original work to a movie, and like that's
There was one other one that you told me that blew my mind, that it was an original work. I feel like it was a John Williams, maybe. I don't know why that's ringing a bell.
It was because it was the Home Alone theme. Because you thought it was just a classic Christmas song.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's it. But yeah. No. What this Fight the Power? I definitely thought it was just a outside of Hollywood. I thought it was just a song. I don't know that was just out to the public forever. I mean, that's how I've known it. I guess. Yeah. It's just I've heard it. The
came out 10 years before we were born.
Is that beat used anywhere else, or like? Because I feel like this.
It's almost certainly been sampled. Yeah,
okay,
it's almost certainly been sampled.
But yeah, The smashing of the radio. Yeah, it's just like that ending, I guess, of him
it's
smashing the radio.
Dude.
Yeah, it all just sucks. And yeah, whether Sal was hiding his racism the whole time, is kind of like because, his son, Pino, very, very confirmed racist, but I feel like he is kind of like going too far over to counteract, like, because didn't Mookie kind of have this conversation of like, dude, you just want to be black, like look at your hair, like look at like all of the stuff you're doing,
your hair's kinkier than mine, and your favorite actor's Eddie Murphy, and your favorite athlete, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like Pino was kind of like, well, I mean, he still said some very racist things, but like could be a fake, racist in a way of like hiding it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then you have, Vito, Vito just actually seems like
Vito's just a good dude.
He's just an innocent guy.
He's a little bit of a dummy. Yeah, he's a little bit of a dumb guy, but he's sweet,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his intentions are good, or there's nothing wrong coming from him. And then Sal, it was kind of like, he is saying the right things, but like could it, he's very,
and again, he's a business owner, and this is where his business is, and he's got a, he wants to drive up business, and like there's a little bit of a, how much of it is a front because of what he does on a day-to-day basis, and and then furthermore, at what point does a front stop being a front and just become who you are, and like there's a whole lot there as far as identity is concerned when it comes to masking feelings. But yeah, I mean, when it all brims to the surface there with Radio Raheem at the end, and he's, he's screaming at him, he calls him the N-word, he busts up the radio, he busts up the jukebox, and the degree of seriousness everyone takes that whenever they his name is Radio Raheem.
You don't do
radio.
That, man. You
don't do that. You don't fuck with a man's property.
A fucking jukebox competition earlier, like a literal fight without any actual physical altercation. It was just a test of volume. That was it. And I mean, that was pretty baller. Love that he's our good, our me and you character combined into one, the Joseph Robertson of Spider-Man. We got Robbie Robertson in here, and it's weird to see him this young, to see him like this. But like that's all I can. He knows he's above everyone. In Spider-Man,
he's
knows,
the one who knows. He's the one who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Yeah,
Radio Raheem's connected. He's just he's just on a mission. It's all he does. He fights the power. He goes out. He's got to put the message out there. And the 20D.
I mean,
batteries.
Giancarlo Esposito.
True. Yeah. He
bugging out. Boycotting Sal's because he doesn't have any black folks on the wall. Which again, like pointing out something that maybe he, Sal wasn't doing consciously, but there's something there.
Yeah, and his reasoning, is like, it's my business, it's my heritage. It's like, but then, Giancarlo, hits him with the, we're paying you. We are literally providing you the money that you live off of. So, like, you don't think that's important whatsoever. And, I think
there's some. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Like the boycott. Like, I don't know if. I mean, like everything did just bottle. It was this perfect mess at the end of things. Like I think any one of these things, I'm not like against. Like I think the boycott is valid of where it came from. But then the fact that it actually did turn into like the entire business being burned down. Like if the thing that I think disappointed me the most of like the entire altercation is Mookie being the one to throw the trash can into the window and start the kind of the brawl. And I went back and forth of like, would I prefer it to be someone just like a no name, just an extra in the crowd to start it, and then it was just kind of like the people that started it. But the fact that it was Mookie, like, and I mean, it was just kind of a job for him, like. Sal, did say like right before, like I do see you as a son and things like that. But like he didn't do anything to actually make him feel like a son, like and like
no.
Earlier he's asking to get paid. a little early, and he can't even do that. Or that day he's like, hey, can I just get paid like a little early? He's like, what the fuck you asked
if I pay you, you won't come back. Yeah.
So not very family feeling there. I guess.
Nah, and and that's the thing too, is that I think it's important to note that as far as Mookie's interactions with everybody on the block throughout the movie, there's a kind of heavily implied real friendship that he has with Radio Raheem that he doesn't have with a lot of other people. Everyone else, it felt like a little bit of like just a, touch and base. What's up? Hey, how you doing? Radio Raheem, it almost felt like we'll link later. Like we'll get back. Like I got you. Like we'll and I think that whenever he watches Radio Raheem die, there's an element to it that's like kind of. Regardless of what the intentions are behind throwing the trash can, it's basically just, again, and the way he handles it is very dispassionately. He just grabs the trash can, no expression on his face, walks up to the window and chucks it in. And again, I love the offsetting quotes at the end between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, where Martin Luther King, basically says the path is nonviolence, and no good can come of harming your neighbor. And Malcolm X basically going, "Hey,
well,
I get the need like to be militant." Like he's like, I get why we might need to do that. And I think that the end of this movie isn't strictly taken aside as far as what the right thing to do is between Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, but is just stating, as long as you do the right thing. And I feel like Spike Lee felt like in that moment, the right thing for Mookie to do was toss the trash can. Like Mookie felt like, this is just something I've got to do. And then he walks away, he incites it and he walks away. And he's like, that's enough of that.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, the movie doesn't do a whole lot to to be like, I think it is just these characters' interactions that is the main focus, but it doesn't really do much to show like the world doing this to them. Like there's not the Lawrence Fishburne posted up on the street and given that whole spiel, and Boys in the Hood, or it is just their interactions that are doing
Lawrence
this.
Fishburne was offered the role of Radio Raheem. Fun fact.
Whoa, that would have been. That's crazy. That would have been cool.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can immediately see it. You're like, oh, yeah. No, he definitely was offered the role of of Radio Raheem. Robert De Niro was offered the role of Sal.
Okay.
There's a few interesting casting notes as far as what almost was or what could have not been. This is also a very interesting couple of first credits. Rosie Perez, she gets the introducing credit. Introducing Rosie Perez. She's, the girlfriend and the dancer.
That intro, like I forgot about that. Yeah. The kind of back and forth of just dancing in different styles. Yeah. That was sick.
All to fight the power. Yeah. And, that comes from Spike Lee's love of old Hollywood musicals, which is why it's hyper stylized and, it has that dramatic lighting, and it is an entire dance number to kick off the movie, which is kind of awesome. But Rosie Perez had never been in anything before this. I'm trying to think of what you would have seen her in most recently. Probably Birds of Prey. It would be my guess. She's the cop, like, the main, let's see. Good police the quote unquote good police officer, the one who wears a shirt that says "I shaved my balls for this."
Looking through the rest of the filmography, I think that is the one. Go Diego, go! Actually,
Rosie Perez been around. She's a legend. She's an Oscar nominee. Like she's incredible. So this was her first credit. Yeah, this was her first credit. And the way she met Spike Lee was by dancing at a party that he was kind of promoting, and she was dancing on top of a speaker.
Okay.
Kind of in the midst of like a dance competition, some sort of dance off. And Spike Lee basically told her to get down because he was like, I'm liable if you get fucking hurt. I'm promoting this event. Like, you cannot be up there. Get the fuck down. And then she basically just cursed him the fuck out, yelled at him from up there, and he was like, "Oh my god, I love her voice. She has to be in my movie." You know, like that was the way that Spike Lee discovered Rosie Perez, was her yelling at him, and he was like, "She just had the most beautiful voice I've ever heard." And I was like, you know what? That's gonna be Mookie's girlfriend and do the right thing. We're gonna make her Puerto Rican. That's fine. We can do that. That'll be okay.
Yeah,
just too good.
And very that like Mookie and their relationship, I feel like it is just kind of like, not that it's like on the back burner, but I feel like it kind of just has to be because like he does just work, or like he doesn't have, like, it's not that Mookie doesn't want to be there. It is just kind of like he is just working and like always just seeming like apart from them. And yeah, it was an interesting way to like handle the relationship. I feel like it was felt like at points I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot, like he is a dad, you know, or like this is a
he
thing.
is a dad, and he does have affections for this lady. Yeah, and it is a delicate balance with that side of the story as well, you know, because she insists that he's a deadbeat, he's not around, he doesn't do shit, he never does shit, he's never there, he hasn't seen his son in days, da 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 da.
Yeah, I guess,
and he doesn't really give you any reason to go, well, that's not, I mean, like, there's that part when he goes, I have enough problem with the fact that his name is Hector, you know, like, speak English to my fucking son, you know, like, there's you know, you're like, man.
That's true. Yeah, he wasn't, I guess, the most affectionate, but, you know, we had, like, last minute, you know, Tupac being, you know,
that's why I'm like, it's not exactly... It's extremely human. Like, this is a very... they're not doing much to make you go, there's a hero and there's a villain. Obviously, there's a villain in the police here, but as far as moral... I wouldn't even call it moral ambiguity, because that's not what it is either. It's just normal human morals, which is that, like, people are mostly good and they make bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically, and regarding Mookie, his bad decisions is basically never being there for his son. But
like, and,
you know, you could tell he's. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna, like, if this were to happen today, there would be 50% of the crowd being like, well, I mean, you should have expected that to happen if you're going to start a fight in a restaurant, you know, or blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you expect to happen if, you know, like, I feel like there would be people that say that this death is somehow justified. And then you obviously have the people that are like, well, no, you know, that, you know,
I think that would be the perception. Well, and that's the thing too, is that an event like this now would also not be limited to the neighborhood. There wouldn't be a possibility. This is what's scary about the prospect of, thank God we have phones. You know, this is one of the things that's like, the amount of stuff that we see filmed, I mean, every day now, with law enforcement harming people, unarmed people who are not a danger to them. You know, how often was that happening prior to the possibility that the police are being filmed every second that they're not that they're comporting themselves, you know? So whenever I mean, the imagery at the end of this movie is absolutely fucking harrowing, because it's like, it's, you know, for a fact, just given what we have been privy to in real life, the amount of stuff that we have seen, for better or for worse, the idea of the cops going, get him out of here, you know, and then like dragging his dead body away, putting him in the back of a cop car, and then driving away. Like, his hearse is the back of a police car. Like, that's devastating. And just all the people screaming and yelling, you killed him, like, it's a devastating move. And, you know, and that's the other thing too, is that I think something that rang really heavy the first time that I watched this, and no matter what, it's going to be harrowing, but like the fact that Radio Raheem wasn't shot, you know, he was strangled to death, like that's
and clearly passed the limit. Like the cop wanted to do it. Like
other cops were like, hey,
stop, dude. Like, bro, what are you doing? Yeah. So like,
and then they held it down for him. Even after he murdered somebody, they were like, okay, well, I guess we got to do what we got to do now. Like that's, ugh, God, I fucking hate it. So yeah, the end of this movie makes me fucking like, I cry pretty hard during that entire scene. Just because it's so, it's so heavy and it bleeds so, I mean, it reads so true, which is, I mean, devastating. And again, we're talking about a movie that is over 35 years old, approaching 40 years old. Like that's terrible, you know?
And just, it bought, like, you knew, like, I feel like I'm like, something, you know, nothing bad has happened yet, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the hottest day of the year. Like, even me, I'm just kind of like, what is going to happen?
You're waiting for it to boil over. Yeah.
And then kaboom. And yeah, we get everything. And then, yeah, those two quotes at the end is like, I always go kind of back and forth myself. I don't know where I stand on this. If I feel like I lean more towards Martin Luther with the no violence, that it'll just keep the cycle going. If you can't, you know, it'd be, in a perfect world, it'd be nice to break the cycle. But I don't view self-defense as violence. That's not the
fair.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So, but if you force yourself into a situation where you know you'll have to self-defend, you know, like if you're egging on the violence, I feel like that's not self-defense in that case. Like a peaceful protest purposefully turned violent. I don't think that is what happened here. That is just the situation that kind of just itself that evolved it into violence.
Right.
But yeah, I think like I'm more, I think, with good old Martin Luther, and like, but the, I don't know, it just feels insurmountable, I think, is the hard thing.
Yeah,
like
at a certain point, it's like, yeah, would nonviolence be ideal? Certainly, you know, but at what point do you have to accept that there's almost no nonviolent way out of it?
But there could be one, you know, is like
in a perfect world, and that's the
I know, yeah, it's just
it's a tough, and I don't want to say reality or a tough, you know, like fact, because again, I don't think it's strictly a fact, you know, it is still a matter of perception. The amount of, I can't remember what I was watching, but I had a thought that was in line with the fact that it's bizarre that things are so goddamn complicated. You know, like, how on earth do we not all have the same intentions? You know what I'm saying? Like, how on earth do we not all have the good of everybody at heart? That blows my mind. Like, what? I understand that. I don't understand. I do comprehend that there are other motives that drive people, you know, like money and like, you know, power and things like this. But there are a lot of people who do not have money and who do not have power, who are hateful, spiteful pieces of shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like, let's take a step back, you know, let's take a step back and kind of evaluate. If you feel this way, wouldn't you want somebody to have empathy for you? You know, and this, you know, like this person who does not have money, who does not have power, don't you want the benefit of the doubt? You know, like it's not I don't know. I can't wrap my head around being hateful. And so the fact that this movie depicts pretty straightforwardly, like one of my favorite moments visually is whenever the corner men, which are the three dudes who sit in front of the red brick wall, have the stare down with the cops as they drive by. Like the cops are just like begging them to do something.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole time they're like, come on now, do something. And the cop that does eventually kill Radio Raheem is actually played by Sal's real life son.
Oh,
by the way, Rick Aiello.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting little note there. But I love the cornermen scenes. I read a piece of trivia, and I'd be curious how true this is. But it says that every scene with those three is improvised.
Yeah, I can.
And there's certainly a feeling to that. But like, whenever someone says like that was improvised, I'm curious to what extent. Like, obviously they have a scene direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's not just all right, go guys.
Here's
talk.
what you need to talk about. Yeah, it's like, here's what you need to talk about, and now talk about it however you want to talk about it. Which I'm sure is what happened, and that's still improvised. But like him talking about like whenever there's going to be a black-owned business on the block, and all that like it's a beautiful scene, and Frankie Faison is one of those actors. He's incredible.
Yeah,
there was
how can they get off a ship in a week? They'll have a shot, or like or something like within the year they'll have the shot.
Within a year they have.
What are
we
doing? Yeah, and then they just kind of laugh at him of like, come on, we're not gonna. He almost did it. I feel like he almost actually rallied the boys to start a business, in that moment, and then it was just kind of like, nah, the world. I think that might be more of like the world pressure, or like the commentary there of just kind of seeing that it's just impossible. Like for in this time, like where you do have policemen, where like that is a good point of that you brought up about like no cell phones, no filming, like, and they could get away with this crime so much easier. Like and
right,
and just a thing that probably happened all the time without it being reported, and then everything spun in the way that it was the black victim's fault, like no way it could have been the cop. It had to have been the black victim, and yeah, it's just like it's just terrible to wrap your head around, and the fact that we do have all the filming capabilities now. We have body cams, and still, it doesn't actually matter, which is kind of wild that it still repeats, but hopefully to a lesser degree. But
that's my thing, is that's what's crazy, is I have no idea how much, and I'm sure it has lessened that, and it doesn't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's crazy, is the rate at which this must have been happening prior to cell phones is positively absurd to me. I mean, it's absolutely devastating. I don't. I don't know, but there's
more fun parts.
I did want to.
I guess I don't know.
Oh, there's plenty of fun parts of the movie.
Yeah, lighter.
There are plenty.
L.
It's a very funny. It's a very funny movie. Yeah, Mr. Senior Love Daddy, Samuel L. Jackson, being the
only visual of the movie that I've seen before this was Samuel L. As this character. I feel like.
Oh, no shit.
That's the only thing that I don't know if it was just in a meme or where. I don't think I saw a video clip. I think just
Mr. Senior Love Daddy. Yeah, I love that.
The good version of Dr. Amp. We got the real on the street. I love how it's like he does have a window to the street, and he actually to the street, and he's on what's going on.
That's what's cool, is that like if you have a radio station for your neighborhood, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a
so
great
sick.
idea.
Like Mookie, talk to the people, or say something.
Yeah, talk to the people, Mookie. Yeah,
like that is sick. And I don't know, a lost art. No one listens to the radio anymore. Like that's but what a cozy feeling to have. Like that would feel like such a community, like that. I mean, New York. It felt like a neighborhood. I would never call New York a neighborhood. Ever. Like
no, because this is just a neighborhood in New York. Yeah. It's really effective. I loved the mayor. That's one of my favorite characters in the movie. In fact, it's crazy it took us 35 minutes to bring him up, but I do think he's one of the quintessential, entry points into this movie. As far as the degree of empathy you are capable of expressing for the mayor is kind of. It's really important into how much you probably enjoy the movie ultimately. Because there's going back to what we were talking about with like how much has this been happening and how much worse was it prior to cell phones? We're looking at a guy who's old, like this is an old guy who's lived in this neighborhood his whole life. And, the young kids pick on him because they call him a bum and a drunkard. And it's like, you gotta expect that he's seen shit. Like he's been there a long time. Like it's, shit ain't easy.
Yeah, and he saw
I love
his wife die right in front of it. Was that it, or his daughter, or like I feel some family member like died.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, right in front of him, and I was like, oh damn, it's like he could like he already, I was already kind of chill with him, or like I didn't have any like real beef with him. He could, I guess, drink a little less, but it really didn't seem like it was that big of a problem. He was just kind of chill. He'd walk around, give some good advice, and then like in the moments of like
do the right thing.
Yeah, mother sister. I love their dynamic the whole time. Yeah, and I just saw that they're married. They're in actual. That's
in
crazy.
Real life they were married.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were married in real life. Yeah, so, and I mean they've got a great chemistry. I love when he goes to her windowsill and sits there for a second. I'm just taking in the breeze for a second. Yeah. I'll just sit here, no big deal. I love, and then the way that he's the one who comforts her at the end whenever she like screams to the heavens and stuff. Like that's a great moment. Him, saving the kid in the street, like that's when he was almost going to get hit by a car.
It's
that's a great
like Mookie throwing the trash can and then mother sister kind of just screaming. I feel like it is kind of like you don't know what to do in the time, so you just kind of act. Just kind of like what can mother sister do other than just kind of cry out at the tragedy of it all, and just kind of it is kind of like why, like she doesn't say why, but like I think that is kind of like what
it's for screaming. You to kind of it's kind of for you to decide why, like is it just the death of Radio Raheem, which is enough? Is it watching her neighborhood devolve into chaos? That's enough. Is it the fact that the chaos the neighborhood devolved to was unavoidable? Like that's enough. Like it was just going to happen, and that's not there's a lot of stuff that fuels that sort of agonizing scream she lets out at the end. History repeating itself and things not changing, and it's a lot, and it's very, very heavy. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful moment at the end whenever DeMayer comes over and embraces her and tries to give her comfort there.
And the one, I guess, Smiley, the one other character I guess we
Smiley
mentioned is the read that I get, I guess, off like why to input a character like Smiley is like there's obviously not much going on behind the he is I feel like the one in the movie.
I take it as another empathy test. Yeah.
He's acting on just off feelings and off what he likes to do. He likes to he's trying to sell his picture, sell his art, and then finally at the end, it does get posted up on the wall. We do get the Black Heroes up on the wall eventually. But I feel like is that all that it kind of is, of like someone who can't really express themselves, but we're just seeing kind of just pure actions instead? Or like I was trying to like, because Mookie always just kind of brushes him off, or it is just kind of like, all right, man, like whatever. Like he buys one time, but then another time he's like, dude, just get out of here, or what? Like you're just, kind of whatever.
Just leave me alone. Yeah, we'll be okay. Yeah, I don't really know. I know the behind the scenes story is that Smiley wasn't originally he's not in the script. Basically, he's just he was a guy he was an actor on set who slowly crept into more and more scenes because Spike Lee saw fit. Basically he was like, this could work here, this could work here. And that was kind of the idea behind Smiley being involved, and he ends up being a pretty major character
Part of the boycott, I guess. One of three.
Yeah, yes, one
Radio
of the three.
Raheem, Smiley, and good old who's Giancarlo's
Bugging Out.
Bugging Out. Okay, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man,
stepped on my
the
shoes.
hair,
Yeah.
his hairstyle, dude. Like people made fun of it. You know, they were like, your barber fucked you or whatever. Like said that it was bad. I don't know. I kind of fucked with it. It
I kind of fuck with it.
What is this pattern? Is it Charlie Brown? Why am it's this pattern but on a shirt Charlie Brown shirt.
It's probably Charlie Brown. Yeah.
He reminded me of I don't know, the Charlie Brown mixed with Steve Urkel. Like boom, mashup, and yeah, get bugging out there. But no, I
need Giancarlo Esposito in more roles like this, man. This is he's been typed as
the bad
as
guy.
Gus Fring. He's been typed as Gus Fring, but I like him having fun because you can tell he's having a fuck ton of fun here. Whenever he confronts the guy who steps on his shoes and. He's like, go back to Massachusetts. I'm from Brooklyn. Oh, God. You're wearing a Larry Bird jersey, you son of a fucking bitch. I love it. I love it. It's too good. Who said you could walk in my neighborhood on my side of the street? Who said you could buy a brownstone in my neighborhood on my side of the street? Yeah, I love that shit, man.
Very dark.
He does a great job.
It is funny, but it is kind of always from a place of kind of I don't know, a little more dark comedy than I'd say traditional the whole time. But no, it was funny the whole time. Like I was not expecting that. I guess I was thinking it was going to be a lot more very nitty gritty, very hard, like just I don't know, a lot more of a real movie and just kind of showing what life is. But then, I didn't expect to have this much fun kind of during the movie.
Yeah, and it is. It's a breezy, vibrant, bright, warm movie that you feel the tension building, and when it boils over, you go, fuck. Like it becomes almost demoralizing, but then the next day starts, and you're like, again, we go back to this dry long so thing where it's like life just goes on. Like things just move forward. Things just keep happening. This is life. And I think that's, to your point, you said you thought you were getting into a little bit more of the way things are sort of movie. And I think this is that to the ultimate degree. Cause like you said, like it's just a day. There's not a lot that happens for the whole movie beyond interactions, beyond just little conversations here and there where they talk and they chat it up. He goes off on a delivery. He goes and sees his sister. He goes and sees his girlfriend, and then at the end of the movie, shit comes together and you're like, oh, it feels the most like a real fucking day in the life of any movie we've watched. And, I really enjoy Joey Lee, which is Spike Lee's sister playing Spike Lee's sister in the movie, and you can tell just looking at her. Like you look at her and you're like, "That's Spike Lee's sister."
I just thought it was good casting. Yeah, but that is
Spike Lee's
casting,
sister,
I guess. Yeah,
yeah, and indeed, couldn't get better than that. She does a great job, and I love the Sal kind of fetishizing her. She's a much younger woman, and obviously it's not going to happen for him, but it's
leave her the fuck alone. He says, "I can't even believe you would think that's what I'm thinking." It's like, dude, nah,
everyone can tell very plainly and clearly that that's what you're thinking. You sat down next to her at the booth. You haven't sat down with anybody at the booth all fucking day, Sal.
Yeah. And but yeah, I think like the end, it is like there's no winner. Like everyone is a loser. I guess the only winners would be the cops, would be the police. Like and they get away with the crime, while the neighborhood, just I feel
deals with the fallout of it.
Yeah, it's not going to end right away. Like they're like this isn't just going to be brushed under the rug for the police. Yeah, sure, this happens all the time. It is like it will just be like forcefully brushed under the rug because you can't let it get out. But everyone else, they have to actually deal with all this pain and everything. So I think that's like, at least in this situation, is why I'm more on like the Martin Luther side of like, because this violence it lets whoever is in major power, like whoever has the overarching power, stay in power. The more that the little teams fight themselves just allows that the difference between the two I don't know, to grow more and more. And that's like that. I'm coming more around on like Mookie just kind of throwing the can, starting the fight and everything. It is just kind of like everything just, it was going, like, I thought it could have maybe had a happy ending, like I didn't think I was like, it is the hot day. Some things were boiling up. I'm waiting for some to happen, but I'm like, there is that part of me that's like, well, maybe, does it come out? Does it turn out well? And then, it was just kind of like, damn. And then, you
just
like,
keeps getting worse and worse there at the end.
Just a day. Yeah, and out of the ones we've watched, like Poetic Justice and Dry Long So I think are also they're not trying to be, this isn't fantasy, or it's not like this day would never happen. But the events, I guess, are a little bit more of like we're setting up an exhibit to get to at the very end, and
I think that given the structure of the movie itself and also its hyper stylized nature, like there's that part in the middle of the movie whenever all of them look directly into camera and curse each other out for being what they are, there's these different moments whenever it affects a different air about it that does become a little fantastical because they're utilizing the medium of film. It's not completely naturalistic. But they're taking advantage of being a movie. And I love when movies do that, which is why, like, I told you last week when we were discussing Poetic Justice that when Wes Anderson premiered The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar Shorts, he cited Spike Lee as one of his greatest influences. And I think that this might be the best movie to point to whenever you're looking at that, like as far as the Wes Anderson influence of it all. Like you feel that like bleeding through the screen.
Feel like
you can see exactly why it would inspire a creative with that much intent.
Everyone was placed in their spot, or like it felt like, and a little, there. I wouldn't say it was as symmetric as Wes, but
no, far from it.
It did pop up. There were like a few shots where I'm like, no, Wes would love that. Like it was in the back of my mind kind of while watching, of Wes, and even some of like the dialogue or ways that it was read, it kind of was more like matter of fact and kind of like you're reading from a script, but in I don't know, kind of that Wes kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
But no, here, I guess before this is, when did Wes, let's see.
Bottle Rocket would be 7 years later.
Okay, so even well later in Bottle Rocket.
Before really Wes Anderson would have been like a high school student, I think, at the time of this movie.
So Wes might have gone. Like, did he see this in theater? I wonder.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, that's wild to think about.
But I wanted to touch on a couple more just interesting cast members, and since we were talking about Wes Anderson, I'll pull it back around to this. Steve Park, who has become kind of a Wes Anderson regular. He was the chef in The French Dispatch. He was one of the dads in Asteroid City. He was just in The Phoenician Scheme as the pilot who, is like, you're gonna get me killed, and then he like ejects him out of the cockpit. Steve Park is the Korean shop owner, much younger again, as this was almost 40 years ago. But yeah, so that's just an interesting credit that I'm like, holy shit, that's Steve Park. Whenever I see him, I'm like, oh fuck, how about that? And then Martin Lawrence. This is Martin Lawrence's first movie role. Martin Lawrence is the guy with the lisp.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Yes. Okay. There was someone that I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen their face, but where?
This is Martin Lawrence's first movie.
Wow.
He'd never been in a movie before. Obviously, he would go on to get his sitcom Martin, and he, an illustrious career as a comedian. He's extremely funny. Bad Boys, obviously, pretty big movie franchise with him at the head of it with Will Smith. So that's just an interesting, like, goddamn, how about that? Martin Lawrence's first movie role was Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. This was one of like 9 films ever to be submitted into the National Library the film, the Library of Congress, in its first year of eligibility, which is 10 years.
Dang.
Movie turns 10, it's eligible to go into the Library of Congress, and it's one of 9 movies to do it, and at the time, I think it was the 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I see what, like, kind of a perfect time capsule of, like, like, the fact that it is just such a normal day. It isn't a, look at this one event that was such an anomaly that would never actually happen again, or something that was so crazy that, you can chalk it up to be just, I don't know, all of that heightened. No, it is just a day. And the violence is still as tragic. Yeah. But yeah. And it just also looks great. Like, I think also as like, it does really
movie.
help. Like, and like, I still loved to watch Dry Long So and Poetic Justice, but like, whenever I can actually just, my eyes are also very happy, like subconscious,
being
like
stimulated. Yeah.
It's it just adds a whole other layer to a movie. But
it does. And if you're looking forward to some hyper stylized big swings behind the camera, you'll be looking forward to next week. Next week here on the Sentimentalists, to top off the month, the Black History Month, we are going to be covering Nickel Boys, which came out in 2024, directed by Ramel Ross. There's a very, very specific choice that it will not take you long to catch on to, and it lasts the whole movie.
Okay. Yum.
It's a very, very bold, innovative, big swing. So I'm excited for you to finally watch that, because I think that should have won Best Picture last year, but I didn't think it was gonna, but I really think it should have. But yeah, so I think with that we can conclude this episode on Do the Right Thing. Leave a 5-star rate and review, download wherever you might be listening. Stick around, because we're gonna rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10. But first I'm gonna get a couple plugs in. We recently concluded our Twin Peaks podcast, Fire Pod with Me. Got to check that out if you're a Twin Peaks fan. We would appreciate it greatly. Friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher. Like, Joseph watched it all for the first time. I rewatched it. It was a lot of fun. 50 straight weeks of us discussing Twin Peaks, so almost a year's worth of content. You got to go ahead and check that out. We also do a show called Geek With Me, where right now A Night of the Seven Kingdoms probably just came to an end, if I'm not mistaken, release-wise. I think
4, 5.
Or
it'll be
it concludes
5
this Sunday. Yeah, it concludes this Sunday.
Yeah.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms concludes this Sunday, so obviously we're going to be talking about that. On Geek With Me, it's our nerd shit podcast, all things, fantasy, Star Wars, Thrones, Marvel, DC, all that sci-fi bullshit. It's a lot of fun. We love talking about it over there on Geek With Me, so check that out. And like I said, we'll be back next week with Nickel Boys. I can't wait to discuss that movie. Another one I saw it in theaters last year and was like, yeah, this is an inevitability. We will be discussing this at some point. So, very excited for that. And next week I will also be announcing the slate for March. Yes. So you gotta, because I'm comfortable letting you know now that March will feature a couple of bonus episodes beyond just movie coverage, because we will be doing our own Sentimentalists Awards for film from last year. Can't wait. I'm super excited that'll be coming out the week before the Oscars, and then the day after the Oscars we will be discussing the Oscars. So that's the Oscars results. So got that to look forward to. That's definitely in March, and then we've got an extremely eclectic and fun slate for March that I'm excited to nail down and cover together. So let's rate Do the Right Thing. How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, we're definitely, I think it is the highest of this month. I think I'm sure of that. So Dry Long So at the 8.75. I knew I was in the 9s immediately. I think, it wasn't quite the 10. I guess there is some hesitation, so I wasn't there. So we're a very small window here of numbers that can go down. So I'm just trying to look at maybe of the vibes. Ooh, In the Mood for Love. Is it quite there? I don't. Wild at Heart, 9.5. I think I'm kind of liking that a little bit more. That feels a little better. I think, yeah, In the Mood for Love, that was I don't know. That got me to think more. And it was visually, it's all. It could be there. I don't know. I'm in between. I guess I'm right. I'm at 9.5 or 9.75. I guess
Gotcha.
I'm coming off I like this movie. This one, yeah, got me to
hear it.
To ponder well after.
Yeah,
the
this
movie was
is
over.
the one. This is one that I'm gonna give a 10. I'm very affected by it. The end of the movie makes me cry a lot. It's beautiful to look at. I think it's really well performed. Again, it's hyper stylized, and I love that. It takes full advantage of the medium, and it does it. For me, it leaves no crumbs. It does everything it can, and it does it well. So I have a tough time not giving it that. And whenever it comes to you thinking about giving it a 9.5 or a 9.75, I think it coming to somewhere in the middle is befitting of it, you know?
Yeah. And so now, I guess, does it just tie In the Mood for Love, or do we give it that little edge? I think we give it the Library of Congress thought so, so I think
that's true.
We do give it the little edge there. A good old, wow. I think that is actually a 988 would be a good old 99.
99% on the cinemanometer. We love those. That's a great movie. I mean, just monumental picture, kind of quintessential stuff. One of those should be required viewing movies. But I think with that we can conclude this episode of The Sentimentalists. Come on back next week. Let's do it again with Nickel Boys. I'm very, very excited. Another not a light one. Not a light one. Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a heavy picture, so you got a lot to look forward to. But we'll be discussing that next week on Nickel Boys, on The Sentimentalists. But I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, fuck ice until the day I die.